Okay, here is why shame is so freaking effective and so hard to wrap our head around. So, shame works in a really elusive way. It's just that whisper in the corner of our mind that you're not good enough. You can't do it this time. No one's gonna love you. Why bother trying? It is this like heavy weight on our shoulder that just gets saddled. We have to trudge through life. So, we need to get out of the shame cycle as soon as possible. I don't care what you did. I don't care how much penance you think you're supposed to pay for it. Get out of the shame cycle. That is the win. Because the shame will tell us lies and far surpass any punishment that we actually deserve for whatever we did. Shame is a lie. Shame is terribly detrimental to your identity and sense of self. And you deserve to learn the skills to get out of it as soon as possible. So when I was creating my trigger protocol and my shame exercises, I thought, why is it that I have to be so much harder on myself than I am hard on everyone else? Why do other people get to enjoy liking themselves and a sense of levity and flow and permission, and I have to be perfect just to be lovable? Fuck that. So here's how it works. You print out the sheets below, and the first thing we do is we put words to it, because darkness and fear will never be used for goodness. As soon as you start to write a song about how sad you feel or write your thoughts down, all of a sudden there'll be just a little bit of levity, a little bit of light, because the fear will hide, because it knows that it can't stand up to the light of day, so it will hide. So the first thing we do just to kind of ground ourselves and figure out what's going on, what's real, how much of this heaviness do I need to feel, is we write it down. So we go, okay, I'm feeling lame. I'm feeling hard on myself, and here are the false thoughts I'm thinking. And you just spill out onto the page every horribly fearful, terrible thought. I am not good enough. I am never going to be able to get a hold of this behavior coping mechanism. I'm always going to do X, Y, Z. There's usually like very black and white thinking. I'm forever. Write it down. Then we try to figure out how it happened. What was the event? How did we get started thinking about these things? Was it a perceived look from someone in a supermarket? Was it our mom having to get off the phone very quickly? Was it a best friend who's a little bit hormonal making some comment? Just write down what you think happened. And if you can get clear on any triggers or wounds or scary thoughts that are surrounded with that, great. Then we look at the supportive facts. What would you say to a friend that was beating themselves up for this? How would you make them feel better? And this lets us step out of our head and into a different role. So now we're not talking to ourselves, we're talking to this friend. And that'll kind of help us to see light of day a little bit better. Then we work on changing our state. Deep breaths, 2 minutes of jumping jacks, dancing, wiggling, phoning a friend and being overly positive. You're going to feel like shit. You're going to be depressed. You're going to feel icky. You're going to want support. But we want the brain to trick into a different fate. So deep breaths for 30 seconds. Really push the oxygen in. Empty out the lungs. Jump up and down. Change your physiological state. We can also think soothing mantras. Say mantras into the mirror. I got this. It's just a moment. This is going to pass. My husband loves me. He's not meaning to be rejectable. Whatever you're going through, really take a 5-minute break to try to pivot yourself out of it. Then, once we get a little clear, write down the new thought. What would be the thought that would make us feel better? How would we be happier if we had this other thought in our mind's eye instead?